Oh, hello there. Today, we're going to talk about structural racism in America. And obviously outside because nice day. America, the land of the free, the land of many opportunities where you could get many girls if you want to, or be a pimp out there. It doesn't matter. Anyways, or you could get anything you want. Sounds like a good place to live. Am I right? We all hear things about this country and makes you want to live there. But is life? Could you have a good life here? Yeah, depends on who you are and what race you are, because it does matter. But the real question is, why does it matter what race you are? Because of racism. Racism is in this country, especially structural racism. Structural racism is the totality of ways of which society can foster racial discrimination, for example, through mutual reinforcing systems such as education, housing, healthcare, and criminal justice system. Structural racism affected neighborhoods in many ways. It encouraged disinvestment in colored neighborhoods, resulting in many problems such as poor health in individuals and negative impacts on children. But how does structural racism evolve neighborhood disinvestments? But in the 1900s, cities had plans, like a plan right here. That plans of where to put certain individuals. The areas outlined in red are the areas where there are be colored individuals. That'll be important later. As seen in Columbus, Ohio, a city talked about in an article published on Health Affairs, a history of impacts of discriminatory policies on housing and maternal infant health in a Ohio neighborhood. It discusses what the neighborhood has done with individuals. Let's say. In it talks about people of color and where to put them. And in the article, it said they put them in bad areas of the city. And this city wasn't the only one. An article made by Nadia Lathan, 50 years after being outlawed, realigning still drives neighborhood health inequalities. Sorry. It gives us information on where a neighborhood, these neighborhoods were placed, nearby factories, bad air quality spots, etc. In these neighborhoods, there were already white people living in them. But as soon as these individuals started moving into the neighborhoods, colored people, blacks, Latinos, all the above, it got them scared, and they encouraged an event which will be later called white flight. And investors in these neighborhoods got scared as soon as these people coming in, so they started disinvesting in neighborhoods. And the quality of the neighborhood started to get poor. And years after that, people started to realize that, and the individuals in the neighborhoods, after the white flight, and investors stopped investing, the neighborhoods went to crap. Where they want to move out because they want to live someplace better. But they couldn't because of a racist policy called redlining. Let me show you an example of what it is. I'm the bank, by the way.
Hello, I would like to apply for a house loan.
Oh, wait. Where do you live at?
I live in La Mesa.
Good neighborhood. All right, I'll apply. I'll accept it.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, now that is a white individual. Now we're gonna give it to a colored individual for a colored individual.
Hello, I'd like to apply for a loan.
Oh, really? Where you live?
I live in the neighborhoods of Silver City.
Mm, no.
What? This is ridiculous.
Sorry, too risky. Now what you see there is called redlining. In the paper we discussed about earlier, the areas outlined in red are the areas where they were deemed risky, and banks did not want to invest in. Didn't want to give anyone loans, and investors didn't want to invest. Which most of these neighborhoods were full of colored people. And these problems later caused the infrastructure in these neighborhoods to be poor. For example, this is investors, cause there's not that much investment in this neighborhood where I live at, and there used to be metal pieces that hold this bench down, but not anymore. And as we can see over there, there is a bug catcher on the floor, and the swings. Let's look at the swings. The swings right here. In the coming years, as we obviously the infrastructure went to crap, and we see the effects of it as I showed earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in that playground right there. There is a hole in there, and there's no fence. There's no gate right there. In the cities over the years, in these neighborhoods, got cheap and used cheap material, cheap piping. As we could kind of see right there, we could see the outlets on the outside, even though it's supposed to be in the inside. Especially using cheap materials to or using cheap piping materials for our water use. And since the cities use cheap materials, it basically affected the water after a few years, and now the water is bad. And the same cheap and it did the same for the gas lining, and many of the around here is bad air quality spots because some of the areas have leaks, but the apartments won't do anything. The people that own the place won't do anything about it. I'm sorry. And in these areas as well, not this one in particular, but they had more in other areas like this. They had more asphalt on the ground, which since we're in California, most of it is gonna be green space. But in other areas, they're gonna not have that much trees. They're gonna be mostly what's on the floor right here, concrete. And in these neighborhoods, not that much parks, trees, gardens, or other green spaces. And all these problems lead to there to be more illness, health issues, and will be affecting children's lives as well. Because the air quality, because obviously need to breathe good air to be healthy most times, most part. And in these neighborhoods, and in the neighborhoods affected by structural racism, they won't have that much good air, which could cause breathing problems like what I have in here. Children are the future of the world. They could be controlling our country. They could be controlling the world sooner or later once they grow old enough. And it's important to them to survive, to have a good childhood, so everything will be good in later years. In the white neighborhoods, but structural racism will affect children at a young age. In white neighborhoods, the infant mortality rate is 5 deaths per 1,000 live births, and for colored individuals, it starts from 10.86 deaths per live birth, 1,000 live births, and the numbers could rise, but is higher, and it never goes really above. Actually, and the numbers are higher. Their numbers are higher. Even at birth, children are affected by the problems caused by structural racism. Throughout childhood, the kids will get sick very often because this is not good. Because the water is bad here, and most people drink water because this is an essential part of life. And if you don't drink good quality water, then it will affect you throughout the long run, health-wise. And for example, I get sick pretty often because of how I grew up. Water here is not that good. Last time I saw it brown, so yeah. All these things happen to children at a young age, and I even, as I said, I already even experienced it already. As well. These problems happen because of structural racism. And all these children probably won't escape this type. Well, probably end up being in trouble. Sorry. Get in trouble or get injured very often. Injuries because most of these neighborhoods aren't really that safe, as I said before. Infrastructure is poor. Because I could easily just trip on this and fall, which I tried to glue in, but it didn't work. And many of these neighborhoods are dangerous because many of these individuals are violent because they don't feel safe in these neighborhoods because of how everything is how everything is in here. Children and all these problems will affect the child as they reach adulthood, and that's how they grew up. I wish I didn't experience some things I experienced as a kid, but I had to. I could have grew up differently. Probably be a lot healthier. Probably won't have problems with my lungs, all that shit. But problems from structural racism happen, and now I can't breathe that good. And other people experience different types of health problems as well. Diabetes, type 1 or 2, like breathing problem, bronchitis. What my friends experience, etc. I wish and most of these people also get in trouble, as I mentioned before. I wish it didn't happen, but structural racism caused it. And I kind of wish that these problems didn't happen. But we don't live in a perfect world. But what can you do to help? That's a good question. What we can do to help is to build fundraisings or do charities to help to help invest in these neighborhoods to improve the quality of life. Where once again, we could probably have more, all those swings on the swing set filled. All these apartments look nice and new. And where every child could be safe growing up. Drinking safe water. And breathe good air. So what can you do to help us?